I'd like to give a high-level overview of the books I publish because we have excellent training in how to self-publish a book. And I thought this would give some nice background. So I'm going to start with my first book and a little bit of the experience and struggle with it. As a success coach, often people get stuck on which book to write first because they had many they'd like to write. And my advice often would be write the one you can get out the door first. And that's what I did. My first book was about leading a men's group for 12 years. And it's this one, Finding Our Fire, Enhancing Men's Connection to Heart, Passion, and Strength. This was self-published entirely on my own with help of an editor. A gentleman named John Sharp offered to help edit it. And it's very dense. It's half the length of the original document because when we put it all together, I realized it was about 300 pages. Well, that's 300 pages in 8.5 by 11. So this is about half. I'm not even sure that I can find the second half. But what we did is take the entire document and go through and go, what's the most important to get out? And that's what we put together. This was print on demand with Lulu and the format that allowed me to then distribute it over to Amazon. Lulu.com's one of my early and favorite print on demand platforms because it's one of the simplest to work with, but all of them have a learning curve. So I just want to tell you, and now there's so many people that can be publishers that a la carte help you along the way, just like my associate Rick Rossi that does just that. I'll put his link below. But the process, I want to talk a little bit about the process. I'm an advocate of as soon as you can, use something like Lulu to print an 8.5 by 11 perfect bound book. And that's what I did with this book. And really funny, I managed to get the front and back cover reversed. It didn't matter because what this gave me was a hands-on experience of the book. And that's so important in the journey of staying motivated because there's so many moving pieces in publishing a book yourself. And we covered the primary details in our training, but this was the first one. And I just think it's funny because this would be the front cover and this is the back cover. It doesn't matter. I had a hands-on experience of the book, and that was very motivating. And then from there, social media started ramping up, and I realized people need a guide to get going in social media. I produced one. In this case, I went to just the local office supply store and had them make something up real simple to start and see the feel for it. And this was back in 2009. And thanks to the great help of Honora Magaha, my friend Dave Baldwin, that I've known for many years, was involved. But Honora did a huge amount of work on this. And this became really the first resource guide for social media in the state that I knew of at the time. So then, what did I do? Here's the final version. Is it the perfect cover? Of course not. I've learned a lot along the way, but it was a cover. It's a picture I liked. In fact, it's a Photoshop overlay. All right. Got something on the back. I knew most of this was a credibility enhancement. I'd be selling it directly. And this was on Lulu, $15.95, and it's just a tremendous resource. And thanks to the great work of Honora Magaha that teamed up with me to do it. So that was an example of the next. And again, getting something out as a prototype, getting something in your hands, starting to work with it is really important. Jumping ahead, there's several other books. That led to a wonderful book, Social Media for Business. And this was an idea where I was going to get all these people to contribute to it, and that would help sell it. And when we got it together, Honora, who's a fantastic writer, editor, and everything else, we realized it didn't have much continuity. I mean, the styles were so different. Some were more thorough. Some were better writers. So it took almost more work by doing the combination than it would of just going through ourselves and doing it. And I appreciate those that promoted it, but people didn't pick it up and promote it to the degree I thought they might. But you learn along the way. And some of these projects work tremendously. A fantastic organized picture. We picked out the picture. It was a royalty-free image, but not as a book cover. So then we looked up the fine print and paid to have rights to use it. So you need to be careful with the images that you have rights to use it. And then my friend Outer Banks Publishing organized it, formatted it, and published it, and did a fantastic layout job and everything else. Wonderful book, was of great use to many people, and I'm very proud of it as well. Then Greg Hyer and I were doing training in LinkedIn and realized there wasn't a book that really used our approach to using LinkedIn for B2B sales. And we wanted one that really held people's hands with images on what to do. And we came up with linking into sales. And this was like a LinkedIn workbook and another one of the pieces of the project, which was tested through doing workshops and class that ultimately led to the publishing of this book. Now, because it's LinkedIn, we went through the hoops to get permission from LinkedIn to use the name LinkedIn. And it took some work, but this had screenshots and all types of content. And this was back in 2010. We had a launch event and a number of people came, and it really was a great door opener, which also went along with us having a podcast show that built up to over 4,000 downloads a month. That's a pretty good level at the time period. And we made all types of wonderful international contacts with people I'm still friends with, the Linking into Sales podcast. So it started as audio, and then we got it audio in a YouTube channel, and they all worked together. And it was a door opener for connecting to people. We were one of the leading social selling podcasts in the world. Tragically, at age 39, Greg Hyer passed away in his sleep. And I always had a joke that he had all the technical knowledge and the websites and everything. He would outlive me, and I did not do the due diligence in having access. And someone grabbed access to him, and I chose to put it on park and not pursue it anymore. But I'm still proud of the great work we did. Here's another book project that was designed to really just be a Kindle book and not a published book. This is a short, simple book. And it was at a time when people didn't know how to use hashtags. So notice how this is basically a keyword-driven title, thanks to Drew Becker, that was the editor and publisher of this. And it went out just as a Kindle book, March 2014. And it got about 30 reviews and sold quite well. But you don't always have to have a published book. Then I worked with Pat Howlett on modeling his method of relationship marketing, which I found was amazing. And I said, Pat, I want to see if I can then execute it. And then after that, I want to see if I can teach it to other people and build a training program. Well, that led to a training program we still have on. It's an excellent course, Relationship Marketing Cubed, and the ground game for small business success. And Jane Malucci done the training and got value from it, said, I'll help you put a book together from the training. Well, converting a longer training program that's self-paced to a book took a lot of work to figure out how to organize it and condense it into a single book. And we got to the point where I had a training coming up, but we really hadn't gotten enough formatting together to get it published in time. So I said, let me publish it on Lulu. And this was the first one, but we added content to make it into a workbook with the idea, let's do a little more and let's have areas for a workbook and then finish out the book. So then this was a great workbook, and they bought a number of enough copies for the class, and we taught it. And into the program, everyone got a book. Real proud of that. And that was done all on Lulu. And then I got a graphic designer to come up with a logo, which I'm real proud of as well. And now I'll show you the current book online, Relationship Marketing Cube, The Ground Game for Small Business Success. Excellent book, highly recommend it, and quite an evergreen type product. We have the training, we have the Kindle book, and then we got Jane Malucci to do the audiobook. She had so many skills, and all of those components together add up, and I still offer training on it and do workshops and other content, and we have the online course as well. So it's quite extensively, it's all complete piece. Then I teamed up with Dr. Justin Rose, and I saw him as such an amazing learner and skill builder, and he was already keeping up with technology. And I said, AI is going to explode. Let's work together on it. Then we chose to do a book. He did most of the heavy lifting on it, and that's Harnessing Artificial Intelligence for Brick and Mortar Businesses. And then Rick, my friend and publisher, did the cover. So Justin gave an idea for a cover, and then Rick has a team that works with him. And covers are so important because you want to make sure, as we talk about in the class, that you do the research on it. And this is really good. What we learned from it is we narrowcasted possibly too much for brick and mortar because it was a little ahead of its time, but still a great book. And now we're building out another one to come out that's kind of a AI for the rest of us book. And then my university that I was helping out with the Alumni Council, I got a call, and they've been struggling for years, St. Andrews University, which was originally St. Andrews Presbyterian College, and found out that they were closing in 10 days. I wanted to help, so I offered a number of resources and training, got some friends to help them out because some of them had been there for 10 years or more, and the whole job hunting scene had drastically changed. So we offered multiple courses, Introduction to AI, and those that participated got some real value. But in doing that, I realized we have a lot of good content, and a lot of people just don't realize how drastically the job market's changed, especially with AI and a lot of the screening tools and everything else. So I talked to Dana Gower, that was part of the team, and I said, why don't we see if we can get an article together? As we were building it, we realized this is almost moving towards a book. Why don't we attempt to get a book together? And then we got input from Dr. Justin Rose, joined this because he and I are working on AI, and then John O'Connor as well. And this was produced really in May, April, in less than about 4 months. But what you want to notice is Rick, my publisher, has worked to keep a continuity flow between them. And we worked hard on picking out the cover. I want to give Dana Gower a lead on his relentlessness on wanting something that would grab them. And also we did our research, as we talked about in the training on it. It's exciting because I just heard from someone that's a high school counselor. Somebody I know works with special needs kids and challenged kids, and she got a copy of the book, and the counselor at school grabbed it, said, I need to read this first. And I heard today that they said every single person needs to read this, especially in high school. So that was really exciting. This is out there, and this is one of our lead books, especially for the Christmas holiday coming up. Excellent book. And then I had some training that we upgraded on it and gave a special discount in the back. So there are the next steps in the back of the book as well. Then after many, many years, I then started working on my second men's book. And a friend came up with the title, Taboo, The Lost Codes of Men, and created a cover, and I got input. And then this was really tough because I wanted this to be something on my bucket list I wanted to complete, something to leave the world from my own personal development, years of working to make myself a better man and deal with my parents and their passing and being an only child, and then being involved with helping men I was the vice president of the Raleigh Men's Center. I got awards, and I'm very honored to have the Mission of Service Award and much more. But this one took 10 years to do, and then we came out with some prototypes. And here's one which is like a spiral bound. This is literally, I went to the copy center, put some photos together to get it, because again, holding something in your hands very valuable. I needed something quick because we wanted this ready for Christmas, and it had just gone on and on because we kept going, okay, here's a better way to say it. Here's the important. I really wanted something that was a legacy item that, in fact, I believe it's probably one of the most important books of our era for helping relationships, men, and everything else. And here's that one. In this case, we went all the way through of making sure there'd be a Kindle version, a hardcover version, and an audiobook. Thanks to Amazon's new AI audio generator, it allowed production of an audiobook faster than I could have put together and had available for Christmas this year. I also have to say, with the Finding Our Fire, thanks to Mike Salibi and the people at St. Andrews, I received one of their top literary awards for being kind of a pioneer book, and I'm proud of it. And there's a video on that as well, because people would say, wow, you've written, I think, at least 5, if not more books. I wish I were a good writer like you. Well, actually, I'm a good thinker and I'm good at speaking, but I'm not a natural writer. I have a lot of challenges with dyslexia. I don't skim well. I use text to speech. In fact, one of my jokes is I've listened to all my books, but I don't know that I can say I've read all my books, because I used those and worked with a lot of people to make things possible. And this is so that people who are using excuses to keep from getting their book out will stop that and ask, what does it take to make it happen? And of course, our trainings are a great resource for it. And of course, my publisher, Rick. Now, what I want to say about this one, I want to add another thing: continuity of cover and cover design's critical. And notice how let's bring them up here. See these cover continuity is important. So, should it be white or black, or what should be the background? I wanted continuity between the books, and I think we've done a great job with that, and I'm extremely proud. And in the back of this book, there are other resources too, and QR codes for what's next. One last thing to show you is, in the process of the model of the maturing man, I tried a quick Lulu 6x9 to get some sense of it. So that's another example of getting some prototypes out. You'll find links below for information about myself. We have training. At this time, we're building out a self-paced training program, as well as we have training available through the wonderful small business centers. And you can also learn about Cedar Book, which is my best friend's publishing company that's made all these possible and done a fantastic job. But I want to end with, are you asking, can I produce a book? Or are you asking, what does it take to produce one? And am I willing to commit the time and resources to make it happen? What I can tell you, it's extremely fulfilling, but there are a lot of moving pieces. And in some, they were done for enhancing my speaking, and some for sales. This Christmas is one of the first where I had 2 together, and I'm pushing with content, connections, emails, press releases, tracking down podcast shows and other influencers to get them copies of the book. And so far, I've sold more in a shorter period of time than most of my other books, because this is one where usually I'm coaching someone to get their book out and not always putting as much resources into my own. So right now, as of today, this is launched just over a month or so ago, and I've got about 65 that have sold. I'll put links to all the current books below so you can check them out. If you're interested in a book and serious, then commit resources, get a coach, get a structure, get the training, and create something that guarantees accountability, where you're going, what does it take and what is the structure I'm setting up to guarantee my success? This is Success Coach Martin Brossman. Make sure to click subscribe and the bell and check the resources below. Have a fantastic day.